Now, one thing that Anthony Albanese, Anastasia Palaszczuk, Daniel Andrews, Roger Cook all have in common, apart from being hardcore Labor people, is that they are the people who, to their various governments, has brought an absolute mantra of supercharging what I bang on about as the triangle of dependence. This is when you'll eventually always stay in power because you will end up with more than a majority of the population who either are on welfare, work for the government, or if they're in private industry, their biggest client is the government. And because nobody wants to rock the boat, everyone keeps voting for them and we end up with permanent Labor governments. Nick Cater writes about this at skynews.com.au today, specifically when it comes to the size of the public service. Now, we know what the result of the election was. I know no one will ever take this cudgel up, but it doesn't mean it's not something worth talking about. Well done, Nick, for writing about this today. How Labor's bloated public sector blob has sealed Peter Dutton's fate is spreading its tentacles deeper into taxpayers' wallets. Let's read together. The size of the public service workforce has never been larger, nor its preference for Labor governments stronger, hence the triangle of dependence. The largest employer of public servants is the Department of Social Services and its associated agencies, where the number of employees has increased from just 38,000 5 years ago to 48,000 today. Service delivery jobs has increased by just 28% since 2019. Administration jobs are up by 74%. So when they talk about frontline workers, administration jobs are up by 74%. Portfolio, program and project management positions have increased by 153%. Strategic policy jobs, they're up by 154%. And communications and marketing are up by 89%. One last one. Human resources positions have risen by 48%, confirming our worst fears that more public servants are employed to essentially manage themselves. And if they keep voting Labor and they keep slowing any attempts to change the way they do, the triangle of dependence only gets stronger. I like that metaphor because you know how strong, structurally, a triangle is and how it can enforce itself, which is exactly what happens here. Now, let's talk about the worries a lot of people have with childcare at the moment. Sadly, in the past couple of days, another person has been charged in relation to horrific abuses that have taken place alleged to have taken place at childcare centres. We also know that a lot of Australians have had really tough time talking about this issue in the past few days, and I understand why. So let me jump to the findings of an opinion poll, which starts to tell us about how many of us do not feel particularly safe about the way that childcare centres work in Australia, unsurprisingly after the events, particularly what took place allegedly in Melbourne. Most Australians support male educators in childcare, a poll has found. Let's read these all together, okay? I'm only going to read the disagrees. Australia's childcare sector is generally safe for kids. Can you believe 17% of people, 17% of people as a standing number, before you get into anything else, say that they're not safe? That's frightening. 25% don't know, and I know not 100% of people have kids in childcare or have had them at any recent time. 17% disagree. Childcare centres should be run by governments or community not-for-profit, 13%. Now, I'll give you the tip. I think one of the great dreams Anthony Albanese has is universal childcare. And I think he would prefer it to be run by the government sector. So essentially, government-run childcare into government-run schools, into government-run universities. And we all know what the ideological consequence of that's going to be. So don't be surprised if that's where we go over the many, many years to come of this government. Centres with all-female staff will be safer for kids, 41%. Of people believe that to be the case. Just 30% of people agree, 30% of people agree that childcare centres with female staff are safer than ones with both men and women. The majority disagreeing there at 41, but still 30% of people, a third of people saying we should make that change. I personally do not agree with that particular change, but we'll all wait and see where that goes.